Welcome back and good morning, or good evening, or good afternoon. I don't know when you're watching this. Today I'm going to make a custom carved cork for my hand-built and wood-fired slab flask. Now this particular flask, bring it up here, show it off, was formed from molds that I made off of people. I then took those molds, took some slabs of clay, placed them in, pushed them down so I'd get the details that I wanted, and then I formed this flask with a small foot and a base. Could also be used as a vase if you wanted to, from those slabs. This is part of my objectification series, where I'm basically dealing with the objectification of people due to social media. Now, this was then sprayed with a variety of underglazes, sanded back through, taken to Fairhope, which is a lovely little town in Alabama, to my friend Zach Zirk's Laura Janagama kiln. It was placed in there, and it was fired for approximately 4 days, and then sat in there cooling for another 2 weeks. Yeah, something like that. Came out beautiful. I mean, this thing is a wonderful looking piece. I love it. But it has a weird shape entry. I probably should have made this a little bit more round, but it just doesn't work. I mean, a simple round opening here on this funky shaped vase flask wouldn't have worked too well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the flask, the top, a piece of paper, a trusty handy dandy pencil. This happens to be a 2B. You can use whatever pencil. And a cork that I purchased from one of those big box art stores. I'm not going to say which one, but it's the only one that actually I ever can find corks at. Oh yes, and a razor. So first step in doing this is I need to get this shape, and there's lots of ways you can get the inner shape. I'm actually just going to use a piece of paper, place it around to make a template. Templates are amazing things, and I'm only going to need this one template here for this particular piece. Now, I have my template, take my little razor, take a piece of foam, because I really don't want to cut up my very nice table, and I'm going to trim, bring this up here where you can see me working, trim my template out so that it will fit nicely on my cork bottom. Take this out. Doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to be cutting and sanding this down to shape anyways. When I want to do those, I want to make it, this gives me a good starting point. And I just place it here, placed on top of the cork, taking the pencil, and I'm going to trace right around my template. Easy enough to do. Anybody can do this at home, in the studio, wherever you want to work. And now comes the fun part, I guess you could say, is I'm going to start carving being careful not to cut my fingers, because That's always a pain. Slowly carving down how deep I want this to go. Now, I want to probably, because of the shape of this piece, I'm going to make my mark so I know how deep I'm going to go. Again, take my little piece of paper here and just kind of lightly give myself a line. You can use masking tape, would work really well, but I don't feel like breaking out the masking tape. So we're just gonna do it this way so that we got a good grip. And this is how low I'm gonna actually carve the cork. I want to make sure I don't go too low. I'm gonna go ahead and start kind of scoring my cork there. And I'm just giving it a little carve. It's always best to start light. You know, don't go too deep because you can always carve it deeper. You can't put the cork back on once you start the carving process, right? So once I start carving this away, and it's going to start off, move this guy down. Start off very squared off to begin with, because it's just easier to get squared off, and then I can continue shaping it afterwards with some sandpaper, make it nice and smooth. And then go ahead and just, that's the reason why I do that little carve there. It stops my piece from cutting all the way through. And bam, it's the beginning, the very first step in this process. Made that first cut. Dun 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 dun. Or, you can put in your own music there if you want. I'm gonna do it again. Just trying to carve down. I'm also trying to carve at a little slight angle so the piece will slide into the cork, and then I can sand it, or into the cork rather will slide into the piece, so then I can then sand it back down. And just kind of taking it around. Part of the back side of this cork kind of had the same curve I needed for the front side. Now, it's a very rough carving there. You can take a look, and it's starting to fit a little bit better, and I will continue working this down until it fits nice and snug and keeps the liquid, whatever special liquid you put into your flask, in the flask, and not, splashing around all over your table, in your pocket. I mean, when I use my flask, I like to make sure that my special liquid stays in there. You could use this special liquid, but it's just coffee. It's gonna be nasty up in there after a while. So you want to use something that's not gonna be too nasty to clean out. They always say alcohol kills your germs, so maybe you put some alcohol in that flask and walk around with it. Next thing is, it's made out of clay. and cork. There's no metal. No metal detection. Oh yeah. So it's a simple bit of carving. Sharp knives, sharp razor blades work really well. Probably need to resharpen this one, flip the blade around rather, because it's a little on the dull side. It's all steps and process. Getting closer, take a look and go, okay, I see a spot where I need to come in here and do a little carving around the curve. You do have to carve curves. It is always helpful to do it in small increments. You can actually take a lot of straight lines and get yourself pretty close to rounded. The nice thing about natural cork is it carves pretty well. It does become a little bit of a mess, as you can see there, but it does okay. Keep on going here a little bit. We'll go the other way a little bit. Slowly taking it down, bit by bit. Until it starts to fit. If it fits, it ships. If it doesn't fit, I carve another one and make it fit. But I don't want to go through all that process again. So I'm going to take it nice and easy. The carving process. Bam. So as you can see, the cork is starting to fit. And I'm going to keep going until I reach this point. Slowly shaping and sanding until the cork goes all the way into the piece. So that, again, the special liquids that get put in here, the magical juices, will stay in the flask. And nobody want no alcohol abuse. That's just shame. Don't abuse the alcohol. Don't waste it. I mean, I guess you could waste it. They're just gonna make more, but then you have to buy it. No point wasting. Get yourself a good fitting flask. A good fitting cork for your flask. And it's shape. Keep on looking. Keep on seeing where we gotta trim up some more. Take a little bit more down here in the front. I always like to try and keep a slight angle on the cork so that as it fits into the neck, it gets a really tight fit all the way down. A little smaller at the front, on the bottom of the cork rather. A little tighter on the top of the cork. Makes for a really, really nice fit. Slowly working. And you notice I keep checking it, because I do not want to carve too much and then have to start all over again. That's just going to be an annoyance. Nobody wants that kind of annoyance in their life, or that wasted material. So here, Going slow, a little bit at a time is the way to go. Well, I'm going to continue doing this. Then I'm going to take a piece of sandpaper and I'm going to sand the edges around, make it nice and smooth so it's not all jaggedy. And once I do that, it will just start to slide and fit in there quite nicely. But you can see where I'm going with this. This will be a, this particular piece is actually already spoken for. So I just have to finish it up, get it in the man's hand, and get some of that, that green paper into my hand. So I can then spend it on more clay. Alright, y'all have a great day. Go make something out of clay, and as always, if you like what you see, you got any comments, drop those comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. If you want to see more of these and stay up to date on all this random weird art making that goes on in the studio, hit that subscribe button there. Appreciate that. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies. I like telling my enemy stuff. Yeah. You're like, haha, this is what I watched today, Mr. Enemy. And then, then you're one step ahead of them, and that's what it's all about, right? Being a step ahead of your enemies. So, anyways, go make something out of clay.